Are you gonna thumb stuff?
Hey, as long as it makes me feel better, you can stick your thumb wherever you want. Jesus, pal, take me out to dinner first.
Whew!
Oh, what the fuck? My dick cracked.
Hey. What's going on out there, YouTube?
Shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you are deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you follow this guy, let's just assume poor, my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I am the longest reigning AEW World Champion of all time. This is Dr. Bo Hightower, and he's got pubes super glued to his face. And today, he's going to make me feel a little bit better than you, and you know it.
He's got a pay-per-view and
November 18th, Full Gear. It's going to be me versus Jay White. You can either get tickets, go to the Los Angeles Forum, or you can go on the numerous AEW social media platforms to figure out how you can buy it and watch it. Also, you can watch me every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on TBS.
If you guys didn't follow him on Twitter already, go do that. Instagram as well.
_MJF.
He hijacked my intro. I was going to talk about,
Yeah,
the
just put me
Diamond.
over. Just put me over. Just go.
Right.
Start now.
Yeah, the longest reigning AEW champion of all time, the current Ring of Honor tag team champion.
True.
The present, the future of wrestling.
Yep, all accurate.
Yeah, everybody knows that he's combining the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and he's creating a brand new amalgamation
You're welcome.
of wrestling,
Yep.
pro entertainment, every single style that you could think of. I mean, the man is number one on the mic, number one in the ring, number one with the burgundy and gold belt.
I'm also hung like a horse.
Allegedly. And, but he's
You might find out today.
I might find out. And he's missing a little something right here right now, so maybe we'll go looking for that later. So anyway, we're going to sell you some crack on the internet. I'm going to ask him if he's into thumb stuff, and yeah, you guys are in for a hell of a show here.
Hope you people with Cairo kinks are ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, put the lotion down. All right, M to the J to the F. So tell me about what got you into wrestling. We've all heard a lot of stories that you grew up, like you're a fan of the actual art itself. You take it very seriously compared to a lot of other people.
Of course.
When we talk about, that word phenom is obviously used by somebody else, but if you were going to define it, I think that goes to you.
Yeah, it's my yard, But no, in all sincerity, ever since I can remember, all I've ever wanted to be is a world champion in pro wrestling, and I'm very proud of where I've landed. It was due to a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and obviously a lot of skill, and not a whole lot of humility, but it is what it is.
Now, does some of that, is that just you? Is that your upbringing? How's your family life? Are they also pretty confident in who they are as people?
My parents are both freeloading, whores, and all they want to do is take my money. It's kind of a Gary Coleman situation going on. But
are you into conservative shit?
Realistically, thankfully, no.
Okay.
I didn't get Britney Spears out of my money. But, and also, thankfully, I'm nothing like Britney Spears. She's kind of going through some stuff right now.
You don't dance with knives?
I'm not a big knife dancer. But realistically,
I'm a small knife dancer.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I came, oh my God. It's hard to think. Jesus Christ. What were we talking about? I pretty much got pushed into wrestling, not even intentionally. It was just my uncle had put it on during a family get-together, and I was very young. I must have been like 5, and I was just instantly drawn to it, and I made my father take me to Hollywood Video almost on a weekly basis, and I did that with him until I was informed that there's wrestling on TV.
Oh, wow.
I didn't understand that. I was like, wow, the only way I could watch this incredible mythological thing is by going to Hollywood Video or Blockbuster and watching these DVDs. And the first ever pro wrestling match I ever watched in full was Mick Foley versus Undertaker, Hell in the Cell. And, when you're that young and you watch a match that's that barbaric and that real and that cutting, you're gonna, if you're not hooked, you're definitely simply not meant to be a wrestling fan. So yeah, I fell into it, I fell in love with it, and there's literally video evidence of me on the Rosie O'Donnell show saying at 5 years old that all I wanted to be is a pro wrestler. So this is all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've ever known. And I genuinely think, I know a lot of people aren't into religion, but I genuinely think God put me on this earth to be a world champion in professional wrestling.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Made it happen, manifested it.
Here I am, with a grown man getting handsy with me in my apartment.
Listen, are you into thumb stuff?
Hey, as long as it makes me feel better, you can stick your thumb wherever you want. Oof. You must jerk off a lot. You've got very strong hands.
Does this make your hands stronger? Is that a thing?
Oh, 1,000%.
I mean, how hard are we squeezing? I feel like that might.
According to you, I'm going to say
blood loss. You know,
I'm shocked you haven't ripped your boy off yet with this grip.
It's this amount of pressure. Yeah, that would be a problem, I think.
My poor cat looks traumatized. She doesn't understand what's going on right now.
I think she does. I don't think this is the first time this has happened.
This strange man came into the apartment.
Yeah.
Worked me over on a table. She's like, "Oh, this again?" You know, the funny thing about being a pro wrestler is we're constantly in pain. We just live with pain 24/7. I've been doing this since I was 18, so I can't recall a day where I woke up and I got out of bed and I didn't go, ooh, like a 90-year-old man. But you don't really realize you're living with the pain until somebody's working you over, and then you realize it shouldn't be as painful while it's happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And you're a lot younger than all of us that grew up on the Attitude Era. So who were the people that you were watching? Are you tuning in for the most, or most excited about being on TV?
People always feel old when I say this, but the guy that was world champion when I first started watching was Brock. I remember watching Brock versus Rock,
right?
And being like, that guy just beat The Rock. I was just so confused. I was like, who's this gigantic animal of a man? And then, I was already just hooked at the prospect of it, and I'd be on YouTube and I would be watching, older wrestling.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I was the biggest fan of what was going on present day as I was growing up, outside of a couple talents. Like, I remember loving CM Punk, loving Kurt Angle, loving Eddie Guerrero. There was like specific guys that I really gravitated towards, but for the most part, I always found myself watching like old 80s wrestling on YouTube.
Okay.
Because there's something about it that just felt much more visceral, and I related to it more. Like, I remember being little just watching Piper, watching Mid-South Wrestling and Crockett, World Class, which is why it was so crazy when I got the call for Iron Claw, just because, like, I know so much about the Von Erichs already.
You didn't know he's going Hollywood.
What's that?
He's going Hollywood now.
Yeah, a little bit. I will say this.
You're doing voice acting too, yeah?
Yes, I actually just did voice acting for a DC animated superhero movie, and that was a lot of fun. I voiced Killer Croc, and that was really fun. And I just did a comedy indie flick called Floaters. Freaking Seth Green's in it, and a couple really other awesome people, and that was a lot of fun. Like, I think a lot of the time that when people look at wrestlers going into acting, because Hulk Hogan did such a shit job, well, he did, let's be honest, like probably one of the worst actors of all time, people were like so hesitant of letting pro wrestlers into acting. But thanks to like trailblazers like freaking Cena and Rock and Batista just absolutely massacring it every single time they're on screen and just killing it. There's my cat, finally he's comfortable. It's pretty cool and it's unique now, because when they look at wrestlers, they understand now that what we do is really difficult.
Right.
And it takes a lot of charisma and charm and athleticism. And so does being, big top draw in Hollywood.
Right.
And I think it's a pretty easy transition. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's an easy transition if you're capable of being a top guy in my sport. I think it's easier. If you're somebody that struggles in front of the red light and you're just a really good grappler, whew, the fuck? That's horrible. That's horrible.
Sorry?
Oh my God. What's wrong with my shoulder?
It's a little tight.
Okay. I've been acting since I was a little kid, always.
And you could sing.
And I could sing. And I'd always wanted to be a pro wrestler. But the funny thing is, the reason I took up acting at such a young age was because I thought it would benefit me and make me, have less stress in front of a camera. And the reason I took up football was, again, because I saw that a lot of the top acts in WWE at the time, because I was the only show in town, were former NFL football players.
Right.
So to this day, I still have I broke the record in my high school for the most tackles in a season.
Okay.
I was an all-state middle linebacker. I took choir. I was an all-state tenor 2. So I was all over the place out of high school, and then, I had a full ride football scholarship as a middle linebacker, and I just said to myself, like, what am I doing? I'm doing this to get signed to be a pro wrestler, all of it. I was going to major in theater, and play football. And I was literally doing now Piper's annoying you. I was literally doing all of that. God damn it. I was doing all that just to prep for wrestling, and it just came to a head where I was just like, what am I doing? Let me just do wrestling.
Right.
What am I waiting for?
Right.
So I dropped out of college at 18, and I jumped headfirst into the world of wrestling.
There you go.
And it all worked out because I'm hella good.
Hella good. So another football player that comes maybe from your, let's say ethnic background,
Yes.
Bill Goldberg. You were a fan of him growing up?
Bill Goldberg and The Rock were my two favorite wrestlers growing up. Mainly because Bill was just this massive Jew.
Right.
And there's not a lot of those.
Right.
Now I'm bringing it back.
Bringing it back.
And The Rock, just because The Rock is the fucking Rock, and he's the man. And if he's not in your top 5, something's wrong with you.
All right. What's your top 5?
Oh, God. That's so there's like, in my mind, there's the top 5 where it's just about these are the top guys, the biggest draws in our industry.
Right.
Simple as that, right?
You have to clarify, right? There's some stipulations.
Yes, right? And this isn't me saying
This motion?
I like these guys the best. This is just me saying these are the facts.
Right, but you can respect this person. They did numbers.
Because of what they
moved
did.
Units, they
and I
sold
think
merch.
it's got to be Flair, Hogan, Dusty, Stone Cold Rock, and then if you're still moving forward after that, you got to go with Cena.
Right.
Right? And then if you want to go backwards again, Bruno in his time was the biggest box office there was.
Right.
And to me, that's what it's genuinely supposed to be about. Who is helping their company the most?
Who's putting butts in the seats?
Bingo. But if we're
selling
just
merchandise.
if we're talking about who's near and dear to Max Friedman's heart as a fan of the sport, now it's hazy because there's so many people that I draw inspiration from.
Right.
I draw inspiration from CM Punk, even though I hate his fucking guts. I draw inspiration from Adam Cole. I draw inspiration from Chris Candido, from Eddie Guerrero.
Like that.
I draw inspiration from Rock. I draw inspiration from people across the board. When I wasn't being liked necessarily, I definitely drew a lot of things from Jerry Lawler during his time in Memphis. So I think it's just all about being a student of the game. Tully Blanchard until I met him. But yeah, man.
My man's a wrestling historian here.
I'd say so. I think the biggest issue with professional wrestling now, and I've stated it multiple times, is people are so overly consumed with what's going on bell to bell. At least the hardcore audiences.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is Twitter, for example, makes up such a small percentage of the audience.
Right.
So, for example, The Acclaimed is one of the biggest, hottest acts that we have. They drop huge merch 24/7 all the time. If you go on Twitter a couple months ago, The Acclaimed's the best tag team in the world, The Acclaimed's this, The Acclaimed's that. If you go on Twitter now, let's say, for a hypothetical, man, I don't get The Acclaimed. I wish they'd have more bangers.
Right.
Fucking people that are watching at home don't give a fuck. Like normal human beings.
Is that a 7-star match?
Yes, normal human beings don't give a fuck. They're invested in the human beings that are in the ring. They're not necessarily invested in the moves that are happening inside of the squared circle.
All right. Fuck one, kill one, marry one. Tony Khan, Jim Cornette, Dave Meltzer.
Oh man, that is hard. Dave's got to go. I'm sorry.
Never get another 5-star match.
I don't know if I ever want to have sexual relations with Tony Khan or with Jim. Can I just kill all of them and call it a wash?
I mean, there's no rules to it. I think you can sort of make up your own here.
I'm sorry, everybody, but I think you're all going to die because I don't want to have sex with any of you.
Yeah, but you're the face of wrestling, so I think you can kind of make up the rules as you go when it comes to the game, actually, now that I think about it.
There it is. You're all going to die.
There's the rules.
You're all going to die. I love you all for different reasons, and I also hate you all for different reasons. You're all going to die.
Yeah, F's in the chats, guys.
There you go.
So, we ask people a lot about, like, okay, who's the top 5 in-ring workers, but I want to hear from you.
I will say, though, I'll say a positive thing about all three.
Okay.
Dave Meltzer's really good at kissing ass. Jim Cornette, when I was in MLW, I learned a lot from him.
Okay.
Controversial figure in professional wrestling, but when I was in Major League Wrestling, I can honestly say I owe a lot to him. I learned a lot. And then Tony Khan, he's very rich. I'll give him that.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right, top 5 on the mic skills of all time.
I don't give a fuck. Me, I don't give a fuck. When my career's over, I think everyone universally is going to say that. People are already saying. So me, Cena, Rock. Shit, man. Punk when he's on his A game. See, the interesting thing with Stone Cold is Stone Cold was the best at making you feel everything he said.
What?
But, exactly. I'm going to throw a curveball in here. I'm going to go with Jake Roberts. For the simple reason that there's nobody ever in the history of professional wrestling that was able to cut the specific type of promo that Jake cut. Jake would speak so softly that you had no choice but to listen. And I would swap in Stone Cold and Jake like back and forth depending on my mood.
Okay.
Those are my five. Those are my five.
I thought he was going to pull a dial on, MJF.
Is that my honest to God, like in my heart of hearts answer? Of course. But I'm trying to be humble.
Pretend to be a little bit humble here.
Trying to be salt of the earth.
Yeah. That makes
Fuck
sense.
me. Jesus fuck, dude. That's from the Omega match. 1,000%.
Omega.
Yeah, I think if there's one thing that I can impart on professional wrestling fans that are watching this, I wish they understood like how much pain we actually live with day to day. Because we just don't talk about it. Because it's like not the manly thing to do.
Right.
But that's not... If I ever have an avenue to complain about something, I will. So, and I won't apologize for it.
Right.
So, when you watch us, just know, I think it gets lost on a lot of people how much we put our bodies on the line. And we do it willingly because we love it so much.
Right.
But it doesn't take away the fact that what we do is super painful and very real.
And dangerous.
And very fucking dangerous.
Many people have died literally doing
this. Well, I've seen some really fucked up shit, especially when I was on the independent circuit. But I'll never forget, I remember Marco Stunt when he was signed to AEW, we would do these late Jacksonville in Daily Place tapings at the height of the pandemic. And I watched that dude get knocked out unconscious so bad. Like, it was fucking terrifying. And I've seen that multiple times. And then there's been situations for me that were scary. Like, I was wrestling a guy named Ace Romero, who you can Google him. He's a very large man. And he fell on my leg as my leg was on the second rope and I was lying on my back, kind of like similar to where you had me.
Yeah.
And he fell on the inside of my leg. And I just felt the entire LCL on the left side just tear. I like felt it in motion and I was like, cool. Proceeded to wrestle like a fucking lunatic.
You got it repaired?
Never.
No? Just let it heal?
I just let it heal and I rehabbed.
Use your Wolverine powers?
Pretty much, dude.
All right.
And then I also got smartened up to these peptides called like BPC and TB500. So that definitely helped too. It was like this nasal spray I used.
Yeah. Wait, they come in nasal spray?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've been doing the rectal application this whole time.
Oh, yeah. The brown thumb.
Jeez Louise.
Oh!
Was that the worst injury you've had in wrestling?
I tore my AC joint in my shoulder wrestling Jungle Boy on Dynamite. It was our first ever match. Oh, God. And then I fucked my ribs up really bad.
Tore the cartilage between them?
Yeah. But I would say probably the worst injury I ever had was definitely... Oh, my fucking God. I tore my knee, the same knee that Ace rolled up on when I was playing my literal last down of high school football in the All-Star game on Long Island. And I had fucking I think I had 12 tackles in the first half. And it was the last down of the first half. And some offensive lineman cut me.
Son of a bitch.
And I was fucking out for a while there. And my left knee's been a problem pretty much my whole life ever since.
What's the most gruesome injury you've seen? It doesn't have to be in person. It could be on TV.
The most fucked up one I ever saw was Sid Vicious. And
There was. I was going to say the same thing.
You know, the close second, though, is we have a guy named Grillo. And he had a break that looked as fucking gross as Sid Vicious's break. And coincidentally, it was from jumping off the second rope, just like Sid did. Which is why, for the most part, Daddy likes to keep his feet firmly planted on the ground.
So, like we talked about, you're the present, the future. Who are some young talent that you think might, come up and fall into that second place or third place spot?
I just wrestled him on TV for the world title. I think Daniel Garcia is a hell of a talent. He's just got to get the fuck away from people that are giving him bad advice, like Cool Hand Ange and Daddy Magic. I believe in Hook wholeheartedly. I think every single time I see Hook, he's getting better in the ring, and he's also getting more comfortable in front of a live audience, which frankly is the hardest part of the job. And I think that's why I skyrocketed so fast, because it was never an issue for me. But I watched that dude Hook, and he walks through that curtain, and you would think he's been a professional wrestler for 30 years. That's how much confidence that guy has. Nothing shakes that dude. So I said Garcia, Hook. Trying to think. If I had to... Fuck me running, dude. Holy fuck.
That'd be hard to do.
I know. I'm really fast. Oh, shit. Fuck.
Hang in there.
Who's You can't think when you do that, man. That sucked at first.
Peck Minor.
Oh, great. Let's do it again.
Let's even him out.
Fuck, dude.
Even him out. A little stuck right there, yeah?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Bring it right there. Sell you guys a little crack on the internet. So you're a gamer?
Not big time. I'll do it sometimes when I'm like really stressed out about work, or I really want to punch somebody in the face and I can't go to the gym because I already did. Oh God.
Recovery and such.
Yes, mental recovery. That fucking felt weird.
Recovering felt weird?
No, that. The last crack. Like felt it in my jaw.
Where's the solid? Yeah, bro, you been doing squats?
Once or twice.
All right. Squeeze hard. There it was.
Oh, what the fuck? My dick cracked.
Yeah, you felt that right in the center, huh?
What the fuck? Okay. Very funny. All right.
Pull that elbow back pretty hard.
Okay.
All right, it's an elbow battle. You in versus me. Ready, pull? Come on. Use your power. Come on. Screw your freedom.
I tried. I don't know.
Pretty solid. And pull here. So that was good.
Okay.
All right, raise this leg as high as you can. And then drop it down, other side. And back down. So it's funny you mentioned that because people always ask about like UFC fighters, but the wrestlers are actually way more structurally fucked up than the fighters.
Well, yeah, it's because dude, I've gotten in the ring, and I try to tell people this all the time. I've gotten in the ring with two guys that are MMA fighters. And both of them told me they took a bump. Oh my fucking God. They took a bump and they said they never wanted to fucking do that again. So if that doesn't tell you about our sport, I don't know what else.
You want to name them?
I don't want to throw anybody
Okay.
under the bus. Oh boy. And what does this do besides get you a lot of views?
It moves the pelvis forward.
Okay.
Raise that leg again. Back down.
And why does the pelvis need to be moved forward?
Sometimes if your hamstrings get really tight, it'll just tilt the side back.
Ah. Woof.
And I get my thumbs in there. But in your case, it's just your hip flexors are tight. Thank you, F. Oh,
Sorry. He's getting kicked in the fucking chest.
you're not even doing that, are you?
That's all recoil.
Damn, son.
Is that not normal?
For you to just be kicking me, man?
You know, I'm so good at kicking ass, I just
Had to do it unconsciously.
do it unconsciously.
Yeah. So why do you think that Hogan takes so much heat in the wrestling community?
Because he's a liar and a racist. You know? It doesn't change the fact that he was a massive draw, and the professional wrestling business will never be the same because of him, for the better. But there are plenty of professional wrestlers that did great business. It doesn't mean that they're great people. Chris Benoit was a great professional wrestler. It doesn't mean that he was a good person. And I think for some reason, wrestling fans kind of struggle with that.
They can't separate.
They can't separate the two, which is why I think people love me, because I'm out and out a horrible person, and I'm honest about it.
There you go.
So it's like, at least I'm honest about it.
Yeah. I'll just let you know up front.
Oh.
Bite down. Relax your belly.
Oh, that felt fucking weird. That was fucking weird. Felt like my spine fucking went through my mouth. That was fucking wild, man. I already feel taller.
Yeah. All right, hands across the chest right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna block right there. Look down. And move it all.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. All right. I feel like a human. So that's new.
That's good. That's new.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Tune in. Make sure you buy the pay-per-view. Where can they find it?
November 18th, go to all of AEW's social media platforms, and you will be able to figure out the best way that you can buy the pay-per-view for yourself.
And then all your social media platforms are?
_MJF on pretty much Twitter and Instagram, and I don't got a YouTube because I'm not a weirdo.
Oh.
No offense.
Twitch?
No, I don't Twitch.
Yeah. TikTok?
I don't tick or talk.
OnlyFans?
No.
Yet.
We'll see how good this video does.
Yeah, we'll see it.
Then we'll talk.
Hey, if you get this, guys, to a million views, we might open up an OF.
MJF OnlyFans coming soon.
Coming soon. All right, we appreciate the time, the present, the future of pro wrestling. We got the man, the myth, the legend. I didn't get to cut the promo I wanted at the beginning because he was too busy cutting a promo on me.
That's what I did.
But we appreciate all the work you're putting in. We appreciate how seriously you take it and putting your body on the line to entertain the fans. You probably don't get enough of that, but treat the guy good. If you guys are out, if you're gonna ask for a picture or an autograph,
buy me
buy him
dinner
something.
first.
Exactly, buy him.
That's
bring him
fair.
some snacks,
Yeah.
something, a little trade, a little 1-for-1.
Yeah, that's the only reason I let this guy in my house.
Yeah,
He said
yeah.
he was gonna fix me.
Yeah, because I don't get the pictures and sign them and sell them on eBay like that.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't asked me yet.
Yet.
We'll see what happens when the camera
All
stops.
right, man.